So the hottest trend over the last several years has been people putting modern engine and drivetrains into older American cars. And I think it's neat. You know, the possibilities are endless. And it's nice because you can work with stuff that, you know, is available to pull apart or, you know, salvage auctions and whatnot. So in the power, the equipment, you can't argue with any of that stuff. And the styling of the old cars is timeless. So to put two of them together is natural, you know. I haven't done one myself yet. I will at some point. I have one car that I've got in mind that'll probably get a late Hemi and all of the electronics just because I want to screw around with it. But here's something that nobody ever talks about, and you know, you really got to think about this for a second. So a couple of years ago, I go to drop off a part for my friend's race car. So I walk into his shop, and he's got a big shop. It's spread way out, right? So we're talking, we're yapping and everything, and I see off in the distance that he has what appears to me to be a train set up. He's got like a big table, like a ping pong table set up, right? And around the outside of the table are like stands, you know? And it looks to me like it's like an elevated railroad thing. And in the middle there's just a mountain of stuff. It's like I says, this is off in the distance. I can't really tell exactly what it is. So we're done talking about the race car, and he says, you know, so you started building a train set? He says, what do you mean? I said, your train set, let me check it out, I love trains. So he says, that's not a train set. I said, what is it? So he starts walking over there and he shows me, and he says, he points at the 67 Coronet that he's got like blown apart, right? And we get closer to the table and I see that it's not a train set, right? The stanchions are actually holding up a wiring harness that's like it's thicker than my arm, right? And the middle of the table is all of these, you know, it's just this ginormous clusterfuck of like unidentifiable devices and boxes and, you know. So he says, well, I says, what are you doing with this thing? He says, well, that's the whole electronic system out of a 2012 Dodge Charger. And we're sticking it in this Coronet. And I says, no shit. So he says, yeah, it's going to take a lot of modification. And he showed me, like where they're cutting out sections of like the inner part of the car, like, you know, on the side of the back seat and like, you know, the kick panels and whatnot. And he's making compartments around the back of the car to fit all of these various computers. And then snake the wiring through the car. And I'm like, man, that's some job. He says, yeah. And he says, I feel bad for the next guy that's going to work on this thing. And it dawned on me, he says, you know, wait a minute, you know, that's the one part of this equation that nobody ever, you know, with all of the late model stuff and all of the electronics and like the huge amounts of wiring and sensors and gizmos and things, right, that go along with all of this, it has to be put in a car, and it's got to be put in a car in like non-factory locations. So essentially, after you're done building this car, there's only one person on Earth who can effectively service it, and that's the guy who built it. So yeah, they have all of these aftermarket harnesses and standalone harnesses and whatnot today, but again, you get into that situation where unless you're the one who put it together and you know that you use this harness to mate to this connector, to use this ECM or this body control module or whatever it happens to be, unless you're the person who actually mapped it out and knows where everything went to and all of the various diagnostic procedures, and you've got all the paperwork that goes with it, there's only one person who can actually service this car effectively, the one who built it. So it's just something to keep in mind if you're in the market for, you know, you're looking to pick up a project that somebody else started, or you're looking to buy a complete car. You know, it's something you might want to think about before you, you know, you actually dive into something like this. And the other ironic part about it was, as I'm talking to him and we're discussing all of these electronics and everything, I got my foot up on an engine that he's got sitting on the floor. And I look down, right? And it's the 3D3 that came out of the Coronet. And there's one wire leaning against my leg. And it's the one wire that it took to run that engine. And I'm looking in contrast at this giant mountain of something to think about.